The ocean does not announce when it decides to kill you. On the morning of June 4th, 1942, the Pacific looked almost peaceful to the light wind. Low waves, clear visibility, a deceptive calm. On the flight deck of a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, sailors move with trained routine. Some guide aircraft into position. Others refuel planes loaded with bombs and torpedoes. The smell of aviation gasoline hangs thick in the air, sharp, flammable, unforgiving. Below deck, the ship hums like a living thing. Boilers roar. Engines throb. Steel vibrates under thousands of feet. This ship is not just a weapon. IT is a floating city. More than 2,000 men live inside her steel walls. They sleep in stacked bunks, each shoulder to shoulder, joke, argue, dream. Some are barely 20 years old. Many have never seen combat. A few have already seen too much. They do not know that historians will one day call this battle the turning point of the Pacific War. They only know they are afraid. At 10:26 a.m., a lookout screams. Moments later, the sky opens. Dive bombers plunge in the sun. Sirens howl. Anti-aircraft guns erupt. The first bomb punches through the flight deck like paper and detonates deep inside the ship. Fire explodes outward. Aviation fuel ignites instantly. Men vanish in white heat. Steel buckles. Compartments rupture. Smoke fills passageways designed with no windows and no easy exits. Damage control teams run toward the fire, not away from it. Some carry hoses. Some carry extinguishers. Some carry nothing but fear and duty. Another bomb hits. Then another. The carrier begins to list. Orders are shouted, then lost in a roar of flame and collapsing steel. By afternoon, the ship is dying. By nightfall, she is abandoned. And as the sun sets over the Pacific, this massive machine of war, once the pride of a nation, slips beneath the waves. No explosion and no final battle cry. Just water closing over steel. And silence. For decades, the world will not know exactly where she lies. But the ocean remembers every inch. World War II did not begin because people wanted to die. It began because leaders believed they could control violence. Japan, in the early 20th century, was an empire built on anxiety. An island nation watching Western powers carve the world into colonies. Oil fields. Trade routes, influence. Japan had none of it. What it had instead was a rapidly modernizing military and a belief that survival required dominance. Expansion into China, then Southeast Asia, then the Pacific. The United States watched with growing concern. At first, it protested diplomatically, then economically. Oil embargoes followed, steel restrictions, trade cutoffs. To the Japanese leadership, this was not policy. It was strangulation. By 1941, Japan had enough oil for roughly 2 years of war. After that, its fleet would be dead in the water. So the question was no longer to fight, but where and how. The answer was aircraft carriers. Fast, mobile, deadly, unlike battleships. Carriers did not need to see the enemy. They could kill from hundreds of miles away. The future of war floated on flight decks, and the future demanded sacrifice. December 7, 1941. The attack on Pearl Harbor is swift, brutal, and devastating. Battleships burn. Sailors drown trapped below deck. The harbor becomes a grave. But something crucial happens, almost unnoticed at first. The U.S. aircraft carriers are not there. They are at sea. They survive. That single fact ensures the war will not end quickly. Instead, it spreads outward across the Pacific, island by island, carrier by carrier. By mid-1942, Japan and the United States are locked in a deadly chess match. Each side knows the other's carriers must be found and destroyed. The confrontation comes near a tiny coral outcrop called Midway. Here, hundreds of aircraft launch into the sky, carrying men who understand they may not return. Pilots sweat inside cramped cockpits. Some whisper prayers. Others grip photographs tucked into flight jackets. When the first bombs fall, confusion reigns. Planes miss targets. Radios fail. Orders conflict. Men die without knowing why. Smoke blots out the sun. And then catastrophe. At Midway, Japanese carriers are caught at their most vulnerable moment. Aircraft refueling, bombs exposed, decks crowded. American dive bombers arrive almost by accident. In minutes, history changes. One bomb, then another. The Akagi, flagship of the Japanese fleet, is mortally wounded. Fire spread uncontrollably. Damage control fails. The Kage erupts into an inferno. The Soryu is hit repeatedly. Thousands of sailors are trapped below deck, unable to escape heat and smoke. Some drown, some suffocate, some burn. The ocean fills with oil, debris, and bodies. The Japanese fleet is crippled, but the cost is not one-sided. The USS Yorktown, already damaged, is struck again by torpedoes from a submarine days later. She lists heavily. Efforts to save her fail. Men are ordered off, knowing friends are still inside. At 7:01 a.m., June 7th, 1942, Yorktown rolls and disappears beneath the waves. She takes 141 men with her. Their names are recorded. Their bodies have not been recovered. War does not end when ships sink. It continues in letters that stop arriving, in telegrams delivered by strangers, in homes that suddenly feel too quiet. A mother in Kansas folds laundry when the knock comes. She already knows what the man at the door will say. She listens anyway. A wife receives her husband's effects months later. A watch, a ring, a wallet soaked with seawater. Children grow up hearing stories that end abruptly. For survivors, the burden is different. They remember the screams from below deck, the sound of steel tearing, the moment they jumped, not knowing the ship would pull them under. Some dream of fire for the rest of their lives. Others never speak of it again. Meanwhile, the carriers lie untouched. Cold, dark, intact. They are not wrecks. They are time capsules of violence. By 1945, the Pacific was a wasteland of shattered islands. Cities are flattened. Civilians starve. Entire cultures are traumatized. The atomic bomb ends a war, officially. But for millions, there is no closure. Aircraft carriers are scrapped, replaced, forgotten. The sunken ones remain, marked on maps, left alone, because even in war, some graves are respected. In the 21st century, deep-sea technology reaches depths once impossible. Sonar maps the ocean floor. Remotely operated vehicles descend into darkness. In 2017, explorers located a carrier nearly 3 miles beneath the surface. The cameras reveal haunting detail. Guns still aimed skyward. Aircraft frozen in place. The ship's name still legible. It looks ready to fight. No salvage is attempted. No artifacts are removed. Because this is not recovery. It is witnessing. Families finally see where their loved ones rest. Not lost, not forgotten. Found. Aircraft carriers were symbols of power. But beneath the ocean, they are symbols of cost. They remind us that modern war does not kill cleanly. It kills slowly, invisibly, and forever. The ocean keeps these ships intact, not as trophies, but as warnings. Steel can survive pressure. Memory cannot survive indifference. And every time we send young people to die for strategy, for pride, for fear, the ocean prepares another grave. The sea does not judge. IT only keeps what we're willing to lose.